Cybernetics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theo so bold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
Mic check, 1, 2, we on? Hey. Making sure people can hear me. I gotta make sure my audio is straight. See what's going on here. Okay, there's the delay. Hey guys, welcome to the 60-second episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold. Ba weep, grana, weep, ninny bong. To all my Transformers fans out there. Ba weep, grana, weep, ninny bong. Let me just check my audio one more time because now I'm paranoid ever since my audio did what it did to me last time. Let me just double check something. Okay, why did my stream freeze? Okay, I think I'm good. If not, the people in the chat will let me know. Before I do that, let me go ahead. I gotta add my I gotta add my chat information because, like, as you all know, YouTube, it's real. You got to keep updating this link in the chat so it stays recent. Maybe there's another way to do it, but I don't know how to do it. But anyways, we are here at the 60-second episode of Trippin with Theobold. So today it's gonna be a deep episode today. As y'all can probably tell by the topic, it's gonna be a deep episode. This episode is gonna span multiple topics that I've had on the back burner. I'm not gonna do them all in one, but don't be surprised if you hear some of the same echoes of the same content today around different episode numbers. Anywho, what's we got going on here, man? So as you guys know, I'm a Bills fan and I like to tie my episode to a Buffalo Bill, but today's number 62. I really don't know a lot of players that wore number 62 for the Bills. I know one player that did. I really wasn't a huge fan of him, but he didn't really even wear the number like that. He came in, he started off with number 62, then went to 64, and that's Richie Incognito. So I'm not going to really tie, well, I guess I kind of did tie it to him inadvertently, but not a lot of players wore the number 62. Or I take that back. There were a lot of players that wore number 62 for the Bills, but they either got cut or you don't really know nothing about them. So that should tell you right then and there that the number 62 for the Bills is not a good number to have. You know what I'm saying? My face is a little ashy. Actually, it's a lot ashy. Maybe it's just the computer lighting. I put the cocoa butter on my face to try to not make me look like a dead president, like one of the dead presidents from the movies or whatever. But nonetheless, we are here. So you guys know I like to do my little tongue twisty. I'm just going to double check my audio one more time because what it did 2 weeks ago was very disturbing. I just want to make sure I'm good. So bear with me. Yeah, we're good. If not, people in the chat, when they come in, they'll let me know. But anywho, today's episode, we're going to, as you guys know, grow with a speech impediment. It's not all the way gone yet, so catch me if you can. What I like to do to warm up on the show is to do a tongue twister or a tongue twisty. So today's tongue twisty is brought to you by the fourth letter of the alphabet, D, because today is November the 4th. So boom, here we go. D. Read along with me. Does double bubble gum double bubble? 2 times. Does double bubble gum double bubble? 3 times. Does double bubble gum double bubble? Next one. A dozen dim ding dongs. A dozen. Come on, Dre. A dozen dim ding dongs. One more time. A dozen dim ding dongs. Next one. Do drop in at the do drop in. I kind of like that one. Do drop in at the do drop in. Say it with me. Do drop in at the do drop in. All right. Fourth one. How much dew could a dewdrop drop if a dewdrop did drop dew? Doo-doo. How much dew could a dewdrop drop if a dewdrop did drop dew? That's a bar. That's some lyrics right there. One more again. How much dew could a dewdrop drop if a dewdrop did drop dew? And the final tongue twisty to get our mouth warmed up, pause, is daddy does not dig different dances. Daddy does not dig different dances. One more time. Daddy does not dig different dances. And that concludes the tongue twisty part of the show. So now we're here. So let's just go ahead and get right on into the topic, man. Let's get right on into the topic, man. So as y'all can see, the title of my episode is the NBAFL. Make sure I'm at 2 minutes to make sure. Yeah, am I at 2 minutes? Yeah, I can talk free. Yeah, I can talk freely now. All right, I got to make sure, like, that within the first 2 minutes, I don't say anything controversial or use cussing, so I get my video knocked down. But now I can talk this shit, kind of, So here we go. Let's go ahead and get right into the shit, man. The NBAFL. Why did I name this episode the NBAFL? Because I tried telling motherfuckers the NBA and the NFL are the same fucking thing, man. Right? It's a group of rich white men, billionaires, that found a way to make billions off of sports, which is entertainment, to further their legacy. That's all it is. Right? Like, I don't go to the NBA or NFL for truth. I don't go to them for how to handle a situation. Nah. They either dribble a ball, they catch a ball. I play DFS. I get my money or lose some money, and I call it a day. Like, I don't, like, in my household, like I said, like growing up in my household, Michael Jordan was the big, like, we brought Michael Jordan's name up in our household every day. Like, Michael Jordan's name probably came up more than Jesus in my household, but we never said if we were like stuck in a bad situation, what would Michael Jordan do? Because we didn't give a shit. Mike's job was to hoop and take our mind off of whatever it is we were currently doing at the moment, or just to enjoy the game, But now when I watch these talk shows, ESPN panels or whatever, I'm just like, man, dude, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Like, man, we talking about this? Like, we hired you to break down X's and O's, not talk about this shit. But whatever, it's their platform. I have the choice of watching or not. I can choose to watch or not, But I try telling people, man, the NBA is the NFL, man. The same thing. Like, a lot of people, like, back during the Kaepernick saga or the Kaepernick situation, you had a lot of people that were like, man, fuck the NFL. I'm watching the NBA. I was like, man, it's the same thing. No, it ain't the same thing, man. It's different. Nah, it's not the same thing. It's the same shit. I told y'all. The NBA is the NFL, man. Right? I try telling people, man, And here's the thing, right? So, like, Adam Silver in trouble, yo. Like, when I say in trouble, I don't mean like in trouble. I mean, his job is in trouble. Like, his whole job. I don't think Adam Silver going to be the commissioner within the next 3 years. I think 3 years is really the max. Or let me not be too exact. I would say that I would be surprised if Adam Silver is still the NBA commissioner after 3 years. I'll be surprised, because there's a lot of shit going on in the NBA right now, and they're getting exposed for what they are, For example, the Udoka situation ain't over, right? You got the Udoka situation that's not over. You got the Miles Bridges situation that's about to pick up more heat. And now you got the Kyrie situation. So we're going to hit on all three of them. All right, so let's take a look at the Udoka situation first, because I want to end on the Kyrie thing, because I have a lot to kind of unpack with the Kyrie situation. But let's look at this shit with Udoka, right? So you got the NBA on TNT panel, Sir Charles and Shaq or whatever. They're advocating for Udoka getting his job back. And you know what? I hope Udoka does get his job back. I'm not one to sit up here to say I hope he doesn't work again. But we have to look at the facts, right? We have to look at the facts. You got the Boston Celtics of all organizations, right? They want to win. They're like super desperate for winning. Like they want to have that winning culture. They found their guy. They were on their way. And then they hired an independent law firm to come and see over their situation with Udoka poking members of the female staff. And when I say poke, you know what I mean by poke. So that to me is a red flag, right? Because you don't call an independent law firm to come in to investigate people fucking within your organization, right? Like I work for many different corporations, and they have this, I forgot what they call it. It's not a, and it's the equivalent of an NDA, but it's I believe, is it a non-disclosure? But no, but basically, if you date anyone at work at the companies I've worked for, since we have, customers that are competitors, right? There may be a situation where the person that, you're having relations with, there may be a situation where both you guys are working for different customers that are competitors. You have to sign paperwork for that, right? And if you don't sign paperwork and they find out that you're in a relationship, that's grounds for dismissal, right? You don't have to there's no need for an independent law firm to come in to see to make sure everything went the way it was supposed to go or nah, none of that. It's written in the rule book. If you do this, grounds for dismissal, right? So to me, or not to me, just in general, when you see a situation like that and they brought in an independent law firm, a lot more, or that raises suspicion that a lot more went on than what's being shown. So the reason why I say the NFL or the NBA is in trouble is because with all this going on with the Udoka situation, did the NBA hire their own independent, like they should have went and got their own independent law firm, right? To go to oversee all that. Because whatever happens with Boston or whatever comes out of that, it's going to reflect on the NBA. So I'm not gonna spew any other rumors that I've heard, but you can go on YouTube and you can look up and put in rumors or whatever, and there's a lot of damning evidence, or not evidence. There's a lot of damning rumors coming out about that. Now, those are just rumors, but if those rumors are true, and the NBA did not conduct their own investigation to carve themselves away from that, they in trouble, right? And when I say they, I mean Adam Silver, because they're going to be like, yo, you need to look out for the best interest of the whole NBA, not for one team, or not to turn a blind eye to a situation, So, and then Udoka's getting ready to get hired by the Nets. So my prediction is this. Here's my Andre Theobold prediction. All right, let me just double check my audio again. Like I said, now I'm paranoid about my audio. Okay, I'm good. But here's my Theobold prediction, right? What's gonna happen is Udoka is gonna get hired by the Nets. The Nets are gonna start winning. He's gonna somehow turn around the franchise to where they're now better than what they are now. And then Boston is gonna play a hate. the Boston Celtics is gonna hate. They gonna leak something out, right? They gonna leak something out. They gonna, or the truth is mysteriously gonna be leaked out, and it's probably gonna come from the Celtics camp. And we're gonna see what really happened with the whole Udoka situation, and then the NBA is gonna look really bad. That's my prediction, right? So, looking at my calendar, I would say sometime after Christmas, right? Because you have to first, Udoka has to get hired by the Nets, and then they have to play, they have to start winning. And once that all happens, I would say around January is when you're gonna see that shit unfold, right? And it's gonna be messy. So, and the reason why I say that this is comparable to the NFL is because it was like the whole shit with the Ray Rice situation, right? Remember when Ray Rice put hands on his woman, you know? When it came to be known that Ray Rice like went and put hands on his woman, at first it was just the verbal thing. There was no video, right? It was just, oh, he put hands on his woman, right? And the NFL was like, okay, let's just go ahead and push this under the rug for right now. Then someone leaked the video, and when they leaked the video, that's what domestic violence looks like. You know, it's aggressive, it's violent. You know, it's not pretty. So once that came out, all of a sudden the NFL was like, yo, we gotta get rid of this dude from the NFL for good. You know, he can never be in the NFL again. You know, and really, you know, if the NFL took better action and said, look, we don't condone any type, like even if we hear about domestic violence, you know, there's going to be severe discipline with that because we don't represent that, you know? So the reason why Ray Rice isn't playing anymore, well, I mean, number one, you got to have accountability for your actions, but it's my conjecture that if the NFL, if they jumped ahead of like the moment they heard about domestic violence or whatever, if they had something in place where they say, look, hey, we don't condone this at all whatsoever, and they were like, no, you're suspended for this amount of time, at least for the rest of the season, it's my conjecture that he could have come back the next season and it wouldn't have tarnished the image of the NFL. But the fact that that the video got out and the NFL allowed Ray Rice to still be in contention to play, the NFL was like, nah, that makes us look even worse, so you can't come back for good. You know, so that's pretty much what happened with the whole Ray Rice situation. In my eye, like I said, that's just my conjecture from what I recall and what I remember. Now you got the Miles Bridges situation, right? Right, Miles Bridges committed a act of domestic violence against his wife, and I'm not going to really get into the details of it because I don't know all the specifics. But what I do know is he was getting ready to sign a huge contract because he had a very successful season last year. And in fantasy, man, he was really doing his thing in fantasy sports for me, in DFS that is. But he was getting ready to sign this big contract, and I think a day or two before, I'm not sure if that's when the domestic violence happened or if that's when it got released or whatever, or that's when the report got filed. But once that happened, that whole deal was pretty much off the table. And according to like the reports, they were saying that he was looking at potentially up to 11 years in prison based upon the charges. Let me get a drink of this kombucha right quick. My throat getting a little parched. Hold on a second. So, as you guys know, Jordan is the chairman. I think he's the owner still of the Hornets. I know he's the chairman, I believe. But as we all know, Jordan was a beast when he played for the Bulls or back in his playing era. But when he is an owner, he's looking very what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to find a funny name. Basically, he's like the Bimbo Coles of owners, right? And Bimbo Coles was a great college player, but in the NBA, he didn't he really didn't pop off the way people thought he was going to pop off, right? So Jordan is known for Jordan's known for having a struggle team with the Hornets, right? The Hornets are a struggle team. But as of recent, they picked Melo Ball, which was a great pick. And pretty much all their draft picks from before, man, all their draft picks up until Melo Ball were actually I would say up until Miles Bridges, were trash. They got no production out of their players, losing records. But now Miles Bridges was like the first successful pick they made before getting Melo Ball. And Miles Bridges put in work, and that team was looking like a real threat, or they were going in the right direction. So, anywho, since he had that whole case come out with the domestic violence thing, now what has kind of been swept under the rug is Miles Bridges is still a member of the Hornets, right? It's not like he's not a free agent. He's still pretty much with the Hornets, but the contract is gone. But now he pled guilty to all charges to avoid jail time. So now the question is, when is he going to be eligible to play? And is his contract going to be back in question again? How is all that going to work, right? So that's another Ray Rice situation all over again. It's basically, we want to wait to see how bad the damage is before we take action, right? The NFL and NBA don't really have their own stance on things, right? They want to be right in the eyes of public opinion. They could care less about morals, right? They just want to be right in the eyes of public opinion. So rather than them coming out and saying, look, here's where we stand on this situation, this is what it is, and here's how we're going to move forward, they kind of just kept the shit quiet and didn't say much. And then now, Jordan and the Hornets, man, they want to win. They're gonna get whatever player or keep whatever player they can have, irregardless of the morals that they believe or don't believe in. So that's why I'm saying the NBA is the NFL, right? All they care about is their shield not being tarnished, right? For example, when they had the bubble league in the NBA, a lot of people didn't catch on to this, right? A lot of people didn't catch on to this, but I caught on to it, and I was very highly offended. I wouldn't even say I was offended. I was just like, oh, NBA, okay, they are what they are. I really don't have respect for them dudes like that. Not the players, but just the whole organization, right? I have respect for them when it comes to basketball and the product that is put on the court. But when it comes to moral issues and the NBA cares bullshit, I'm like, man, get that shit out of here, man. I cut that commercial off because I know they really don't care, right? All they care about is being liked or appearing right in the eyes of public opinion. So when they had the bubble league, right, when we were in the pandemic, when the whole George Floyd thing was going on, they basically made this big deal about putting, logos, or not logos, but putting quotes and phrases around the court and on the players' jerseys to help promote, ending racism. And the players got to choose what they got to put. And that was dope, But upon the conclusion of that season, Adam Silver came out and said, we're not doing this next season. That was just for now. So my thing is you think by just putting a few phrases about, hey, stop hate, stop racism, for half a season, that's going to stop people from doing it? It's nah, if that's what you're about, you should be able to put that on there every season, So when they said that they're pulling that up and they're not doing it that season, I was like, yeah, okay, the NBA, they are what they are. They're their NFL. But to give credit to the NFL, they still have all those things out there, which to me is okay, that's dope. Okay, I can kind of respect them for that, I'm not here to say the NBA is better than the NFL or vice versa. To me, they're the same shit, right? They're a bag of Doritos. They're comfort food, right? When it comes to Doritos has no nutritional value, right? Doritos has no nutritional value, but you keep eating them because they taste good, right? You lay up on the couch, you eat that shit, and then you just enjoy, you know, the taste and the savor of that moment. And that's all the NBA is. That's all the NFL is. That's all sports is, you know? So when you're able to put sports into its proper category or its proper arena, like there's going to be no need for no confusion, right? You know what they are. You know what they're about. So anyways, now let's go ahead and jump into this Kyrie situation, right? Because there's a lot of stuff going on with this Kyrie situation, man. So where to start, man? So first of all, shout out to my brother Dwan B. You know, he made a couple good, he made a lot of good points. I follow him on social media, YouTube. If not, you guys go and, you know, follow him to get his content. But Dwan B, man, said a lot of things that like I rock with, you know. Like one thing he said that I agree with is this isn't about taking sides, right? Like it's not about being, hey, I'm on Kyrie's side or hey, I'm on the NBA side, right? It's just you look at actions of people, right? You look at actions, right? And what Kyrie did was Kyrie posted a link to a movie / video and or video that had anti-Semitic language or rhetoric in it, right? And I'm going to get on this later in the episode, but what I didn't realize is, you know, the definition of anti-Semitism has been redefined, and a lot of people don't realize that. So we're going to hit on that in a second. But Kyrie posted a link to this video, / doc or book or whatever, and basically the question I have is, well, not even the question. I'm looking at the behavior of everything, right? Like I'm looking at the behavior. Everyone, or the media, basically is just saying there's anti-Semitic stuff, there's anti-Semitic stuff, and there's anti-Semitic stuff in here, right? But no one is actually going and pointing out the actual lines or the specific points in the video or the specific pages and line numbers in the book that says, hey, this is anti-Semitic and here's why, right? So the reporter that asked Kyrie the first time about his post, he had every right to ask a question. Everything can be questioned, right? But I would have had more respect for the reporter if he cited specifics from the book and or documentary and asked Kyrie, do you believe this? And if so, why? Right? Because now what's happening is we're getting out of our feelings and we're looking at facts. We're looking at words, right? We're looking at something objectively, you know? Now I know people in my personal group chat, they actually posted excerpts from the book or whatever. And what I'm going to do for my own homework, for my own education, is I'm actually going to rent the movie on Amazon Prime. It's not like it's like a $40. I'm not buying it. It's like a 3-hour documentary. I'm not spending $40 on a documentary. I'm just going to rent it and watch it, you know. And the book I think is probably like $30, $40. I'm not going to buy the book. I'm just going to watch the documentary to see what it is, because I want to say, okay, you know what? I can see why people get offended by this. I can see this point here. But on the flip side, what the era that we're in right now is, just because a source is faulted doesn't mean that there aren't truths in there, right? Like, for example, right? Like if you go on YouTube, right? YouTube is a platform that allows people to post almost whatever, right? Some of it may be true, some of it may be garbage, you know? But we have that right as a human being in this country to see for ourselves, right? We can go through and watch it, and if you watch it and say, nah, that's bullshit, I don't agree with that, then you just don't watch it, you know? If you agree with something, like I'm able to, and to go even further, you can even go to a specific video, even this video, shit, you may come in this video and be like, you know what? This what you said here is factual. This is here's what you said. This is, and this part of your video is true, but this part is not true. Okay, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're really on a slippery slope. And I've always preached this, man, is I've always been weary of this, but there's a difference between education and indoctrination, right? So I'm looking at ESPN and everyone is like, oh, okay, well, we need to be educated on what goes on in the Jewish communities. We need to be educated. And I think you have to be careful with the word education, you know, because if you go to the IHRA website, which I actually looked it up. Actually, let me actually just I'm kind of like all over the place right now, but let me go back to the talking sides point or the taking sides point, right? So well, let's go back to what Kyrie, you know, posting this link, right? So they're making a big deal about him, like, you know, come on, Dre. They're making a big deal about him putting up this link to this document, which may or may not contain anti-Semitic things in there. I'm not gonna co-sign it because I haven't watched it for myself, you know. And that's the one thing we need to do better in this country and better as a society on is when people need to stop, you know, people need to stop piggybacking off of what the media says. Go do your own research, right? Like in school, we made the same mistake, right? Like in school, when people were told to go write papers, you know, a lot of times people would just go to Wikipedia and copy and paste shit, right? But no, you had to go do your own, or better yet, instead of just going to look at documentation and documents, first ask yourself some questions and then find documents. See, that's the thing with reading, right? Is I'm learning this with reading, right? Because I took a step back. I'm not the best reader, you know, I never was. I'm more of a numbers guy. But what I learned is the reason why I was such a poor reader most of my life is because I never asked questions before I read. I would just get a book and read it and try to memorize all the facts in there and never really take into consideration, you know, what was really being said. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to write down a list of my questions. I'm going to look at the questions that the media is asking, and then I'm going to go watch this documentary, you know, and I'm going to form my own conclusion and go from there, you know. Now, by no means, like, do I hate any group. I don't hate any group of people, you know. And this is where we got to be real careful, right? Like, because in the DSM, I think there's a new there's a new disorder that came out recently, right? And it's basically if you question things, right? Basically, they're saying that that's like a disorder now, all of a sudden, right? And to me, it's like, how can you have real education if you don't question things? You know, like if you go to school and if you don't ask questions before you try to learn something, then you're just getting pumped with information, right? So let me give another example, right, of what Kyrie did, right? Now, me personally, I wouldn't have probably, I mean, me personally, I'm like super careful about what I post because I know how things can be interpreted, you know what I'm saying? Or I know how things can get out of hand. But if I can stand on it, I'm gonna stand on it, you know? Excuse me. Or when people want to paint a narrative of who you are, it gives them a whole, it basically makes it easier for them to paint a picture, right? And right now, I don't have Kyrie money. Kyrie's a millionaire, right? I don't have Kyrie money, right? So I guess maybe when you make more money, you can kind of do those kind of things. But I know me from a financial standpoint, I couldn't do that right now, you know? But here's the thing, right? Like, there's no different, or the way I look at it is, see this book right here? This is the Holy Scriptures, right? And a lot of people think there are only 66 books in the Bible, but no, there's 88 or more, right? So, and of those books, of the 66 books that are in the Bible, or I don't even like calling it the Bible because the word Bible's not in the word. The word Bible's not in the Bible, or the word Bible's not in the Holy Scriptures, right? I call it the Scriptures, you know. And the reason why I'm making a big deal about this, or like I'm pointing this out, is you had people that took out the books or removed books because they didn't agree with it for whatever reason, or they said that they weren't inspired by God for whatever reason. But yet the books that they took out were referenced by other books that were in the 66 that got put in, you know? So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, are people really doing their due diligence to, you know, learn and ask questions about why things are and how things came to be, you know? So that to me right there is an example of indoctrination, right? Someone came along, or a council came along, and they said, "Hey, we think that these 22 books are not inspired by God, so we're going to go and take them out because we feel that they weren't inspired by God." But yet, other books that they left in there refer to those books, you know. So I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if I were to take a verse out of one of the books of the Apocrypha and I posted it, well, I don't even like calling it the Apocrypha because that's like a derogatory name for the hidden books, right? They're not really hidden. It's just books that people took out. But if I were to post a scripture from a book, or better yet, if I just even referenced a book from one of the books that were taken out of the as what we know today as the Bible, and the people read that book, a lot of people would get offended by what is in that book based upon how we live today. So I'm not here to debate all that. I'm not here to open up them can of worms. But if I were to do that, I would have to know that I would have to go stand on it, you know? So, but anywho, where I'm kind of shaping this whole conversation at, man, right now is we're in a very scary time right now, man. And the reason I say we're in a scary time is because you have different groups of people that have different levels of respect. And to me, it's like you have to respect all groups the same, you know? So for example, right, the NBA or ESPN hired, or the NBA branch of ESPN hired this rabbi, I forgot his name, to come on and kind of address the Kyrie situation. And he means well. I think he means well. He seems nice, but he said a lot of scary things, right? Like the way he was talking was, hey, it's, you know, I'm afraid of I'm afraid for my community. I'm afraid for my people. You know, hey, we look up to you NBA players because, you know, you guys could play ball, but I'm worried about my community, right? And it's like, and the things he was saying was, you know, when someone posts up a tweet that refers to something that's not true, it basically opens the door for people to come in and to, I guess, persecute us again, you know? And I disagree with that, you know? For example, when you look at the Black Panthers, right? A lot of people in this country have strong opinions for or against the Black Panthers, right? There's people that I know that think that the Black Panthers were a hate group, or they think the Black Panthers were a terrorist group, which is further from the truth, you know? But I don't get offended by that. I'm not going to sit up here and say that if someone believes that they're an anti-Black racist, I'm not going to say that. They might be, but I'm not going to sit up here and argue with them. Like, if that's what they believe, I'm going to say, okay, well, can you show me proof of that? And if they can't show me proof and they start babbling, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And I just know how to tune people out. I know how to ignore people. You know, I'm like, oh, okay. this fool basically, you know, they just hear shit in the media and they hear someone else's narrative and they run with it, you know? So those kind of people I really don't deal with because they're the uneducated. Those are the people that are the brainwashed, right? So, but one of the scary things that I saw in that interview with the rabbi guy or whatever is I wasn't even aware of this, but they redefined what anti-Semitism is, you know? And the fact that I'm even bringing this up right now, whoever watches this might be like, okay, well, or whoever watches this, if they watch it, if they're Jewish, they're going to be like, oh, well, the fact that you're even talking about this makes you an anti-Semite. And that's very scary, you know? Like they redefined, like I'm not going to read the definition. I invite you guys to go to the IHRA website, or if you just Google IHRA anti-Semitism definition, you can see for yourself, man. But it's a very broad definition, and then they give examples, not including, like, basically they give like a list of like 15 examples of what they deem as anti-Semitism, and it's not even like inclusive, right? It's a list that can include more, right? But it's basically, when you go through and read it, the impression I got is just keep my name out your mouth, right? It's keep our name out your mouth, and then you're not an anti-Semite, right? And that's dangerous, you know, because now there are laws associated with that, you know, and all groups of people in this country don't have those same privileges, you know, like blacks don't have that same privilege. Like there's no, like when, like for example, when Kanye came out and said that slavery was a choice, right? I was offended by that, you know, but there was no law in place that said that since he said that, he has criminal charges, you know, brought on him, right? But if you say the equivalent to that within the Jewish community or about the Jewish community, like there are laws associated, like there's like those are like criminal charges associated with that, you know? So people can go see for themselves. I'm not here to really get into that and dissect that, but that's something to me that's a huge like red flag, you know? And one more thing I want to say too is, let's see where I'm at on time. I'm doing good. One more thing I'm going to say too is, my experience has been, because I grew up in the church, man. I went to a Methodist church on Sundays, and I went to a 7-day Adventist school from 4th grade through high school. And the one thing I will say is that the one thing I've noticed is when it comes to religious institutions, a lot of religious institutions is a lot of them have this godlike complex, right? And a lot of those, and according to the scriptures, those are all man-made religions. Not my word, it's in the book, you know. You guys can go read it for yourself. But basically what I've noticed is when it comes to man-made religion, when it comes to man-made religions, what I've noticed is if you question, like there's this whole era of you can't question me, you can't question the religion. If you question this, then that's blasphemous, you know? And there's this big, huge uproar and there's this backlash, right? And me personally, like, you know, what I subscribe to currently for religion is holiness, right? Because the scriptures say to be holy, right? That's all the scriptures ever said to be was holy. It didn't say to be Baptist. It didn't say to be Methodist. It didn't say to be 7-day Adventist. It said to be holy, right? So, when you, so from my standpoint, it's like this. You know, where I get my truth from, the reason why I gravitate towards it is because you can question it, right? Like I'll go to church, or I'll go to like a or like I'll go to like a church. I'll go to like their worship, or I'll go to church or whatever, or the church that I go to every now and again, when you go there, you can raise your hand and you can stop the preacher in the middle and ask a question about what you just read. You could even say, hey, look, according to the Quran, it says this, or according to this book, it says this. And he'll sit there and he'll go through and scripturally, line by line, go through and help you get to the truth. All right. But other religions that I've seen that are man-made, it's always, this is what it is. If you question it, you're going to hell. Or if you question this, you're a hater or you're a hateful person. Or it's like, and to me, it's like, that to me is the major red flag to let me know that what someone believes is either false or they really don't believe what it is that they're preaching, right? Like, think about it, right? Like, if you stand on the truth, you shouldn't be afraid of anyone asking you anything, right? Like, if you stand on truth, you should be able to be like, okay, well, they say this. Oh, okay, cool. And I think it's scary too. Like, a lot of people don't want to have their truth altered, right? That's one thing that happened to me in my life a few times, right? Is I had my reality shifted upside down. I had my reality flipped upside down, and it's not comfortable. But the question is do you want to stay in the matrix or do you want to be free, right? Because that's what the matrix was about, right? It's like people, you know, or that's part of what the matrix was about. But at the end of the day, it's like, do you want to live in your false reality and just be happy, or do you want to actually get to the truth, right? And that's what I think a lot of people need to I think a lot of people need to really question that, you know, because some people are happy just being in a lie because it's comfortable. They don't have to really like focus on too much. So, oh shoot, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, Rashard? Man, my man Rashard, man, what's going on, man? Oh, my bad, that's Andrew. Sorry, Andrew. What's going on, Andrew? Said, well said. The best religious leaders of all types, like a pastor, a rabbi, whatever. I mean, people who allow questions and give you good, not religion. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, thanks for tuning in, Andrew. All the way from Toronto. My man, all the way from Toronto, man. Appreciate you, man. A good buddy of mine from the Chocolate Sundays virtual mic, man. We be in the chat roasting people in the chat. But that's come on, Dre. Shit. That was man, that was bad. But when it comes to like religion and stuff, what I've learned is that the more defensive people are about their religion, then there is something or there's some truth that they're not comfortable with, or they're afraid of having their reality flipped upside down, you know? And if that's the case, then it's like, why are you even in the religion to begin with? You know, like if you're not, I don't know, some people, like I said, some people might be cool with like being lied to, you know, and that's a personal decision. Everyone has to like, you know, live their life to however, you know, they see fit. It's kind of like WandaVision, right? Like, do people want to just create a make-believe world to make themselves happy and for the time being, or can they grow and be comfortable in the truth, you know? So anywho, man, like I said, man, this whole NBA Kyrie thing, man, is very it's very interesting. Like I said, I'm not taking sides. Like, I don't take sides on anything. It's more of just, hey, here are the pieces of all of the facts that people claim to be facts. Let me go through and sift through for myself, and let me go ahead and come to my truth, you know? And but at the end of the day, I think the common ground is, you know, if your truth involves harming other people physically, then I think that's where you draw the line, you know? Like, I don't condone any hatred or any like murders. I'm a very peaceful, open-minded individual, you know? But when I say open-minded, I am open-minded, you know? So, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And I want to also comment on this, man. When I was watching the NBA on TNT the other night, it was like 2 nights ago when the Kyrie thing started to kind of like pick up. I didn't appreciate the comments from Shaq and Charles, you know, because in my opinion, they showed their ignorance, you know, like they were so quick to call Kyrie an idiot because the word idiot came out of both of their mouths, and I don't know. It's like, to me, it's like it's evident that they didn't read or even follow up on what they said. Basically, they just took the media's word and ran with it and jumped on and piggybacked and started calling Kyrie an idiot. My thing is, for my world, from my realm, from my quote unquote education, the way we do things in the educated world is we look at sources and we cite our sources. And this all goes back to the I forgot what law it is, but in the 48 laws of power, there is this one law that says win through your actions, never through argument. Right. And this is what's being put on display right now. People are losing through their words right now, as opposed to winning through their actions. Right. The way to win through your actions in this situation is you actually do the work. You get the document, you get the documentary, you get the book or whatever, and you go through line by line, and then you just kind of question everything, right? So when you're having a conversation with people, you're talking about facts. You're talking about, the book says this line says this line says that. Okay, this is horseshit because of this, and this, all right? And then you have a conversation, and that's how you educate yourselves, right? You actually are talking about facts. But right now, everyone is just talking about emotion, right? Like, you got one group of people that feels one type of way, and now we're talking about feelings as opposed to talking about facts. So, like I said, the NBA, I think I don't think the NBA is in trouble. I think Adam Silver's in trouble. And with the way things, with the way how things are like lining up, what it's looking like to me is Adam Silver is looking for a fall guy, and the fall guy is probably going to be Kyrie, right? Because, like I said before, you got the Udoka situation right now that's going to resurface. You got the Miles Bridges situation that's going to resurface and get major headlines. So those two things, if they go a certain way, can make the whole NBA look bad, you know? So Kyrie might be Adam Silver's get out of jail free card, right? So I'm just putting that out there so, you know, you guys can like be aware of what happens when it might happen, you know, or what might happen when it does happen. I think I said that right. Okay. So yeah, anyways, that's all I'm gonna say on that. Like I said, this weekend, my homework assignment is I'm gonna go get this documentary. I'm not gonna buy it, I'm gonna rent it, and I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna watch it unbiasedly, you know. I'm gonna basically just watch it right down the middle, you know, and you know, go from there. But I want to end on this, right? I want to end on this one little part for this segment is I keep saying I want to end on it, but I don't, but I'm going to really end for now, for real. But what I see a big problem in this society is that people don't know how to separate, or people don't want to believe that truth can come from a bad source. Right? Now, if a source is bad, that means that 99% of the information from that source could be bad, right? But just because 99% of that data is bad doesn't mean that 1% of that shit can't be truth. You know? So I remember back when I was in Temple, when I used to go to class, I used to always go to class and shit, and there's always I don't like calling people bums, but for all intents and purposes, these guys were like bums, right? Like they would always be like bumming for change. And there were like 3 bums on campus that we all knew like by name because you would see him every day of the week, you know, and they'd always be like, "Hey man, you got any change? Hey man, you got any change?" And you know, be like, "Nah man, I'm a college student. I ain't got no money." And they would be bumming around on campus. So I remember one day, there was another guy. Like as I was going to lunch, there was another student that I knew who was like either late to class or kept skipping class or whatever, or he was always late going to this one class. And the bum was like begging for change or whatever. And the bum told the dude, he said, "Hey man," he's like, "Hey man, if you keep skipping so-and-so's class, man, you're not gonna graduate and you're gonna end up like me." Right? And we all paused and I'm like, "Yo, how the fuck do you know who teaches this class?" Right? And we didn't ask it, but we just kind of thought it like, how the fuck does he know that he knows like this fucking teacher in this class? And lo and behold, he used to be a student. So even though he was bumming for change and the source looked bad, there was truth that came out of his mouth. Right? There was truth that came out of his mouth. He knew, hey, you know, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna end up like me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I am, man. Like I'm always listening. I'm always like sifting through stuff, right? Like just like YouTube, right? Like there's a lot of trash on YouTube, right? There's a lot of faulty information that is on YouTube that is coming at us, right? But if you just say, look, I want everything to be truth, then there would be no YouTube. So I think people need to really be careful on, you know, erasing a source or trying to badmouth a source that doesn't put out what you agree with all the time. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to end on with that. But let's go ahead and talk some DFS right quick, man. Let's talk some daily fantasy sports because you know me, I'm trying to rub 2 nickels together to make $1. That's what I do every day. And right now I'm behind. So anywho, let me go ahead and so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it short for this DFS portion of the show. So the key to DraftKings, right? The key to winning in DraftKings is you gotta find the golden bum in all sports. You gotta find the golden bum. All your research needs to go into finding the golden bum, right? Because if you don't find the golden bum, you ain't gonna win shit. So what is the golden bum? The golden bum is the player that is the cheapest that will get you the most points, right? So when you look at the points per dollar ratio, he has a certain dollar amount below a certain threshold, and he's going to get you the most points for the best bang for your buck. You know, so for example, last night, my golden bum that I picked, let me see if I can find my, yeah, I only won 50 cents last night, so that was a bad night. But last night, my golden bum was, actually, no, I didn't win anything in basketball, but I had the right golden bum though. And no, my bad, I take it back. I won more than that. I won $1 last night, 50 cents in baseball, 50 cents in hoops. But no, that was for tiers. But I still picked the goal. I picked the right golden bum. And the golden bum that I picked, because I have it right here in my Line Star app. Before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff. You know, but nah. So for example, the bum I picked was Chime Okeke, right? Small forward, power forward for the Orlando Magic, right? Chime Okeke, how much was he going for? Chime Okeke was going for, how much was he going for last night? Can I get the price? Come on, Okeke. Yeah, Chime Okeke was $37. I'm sorry, he was $3,700, and he put up 35 points, right? So I did my research, I did my analytics, and it led me to pick Chime Okeke, right? So I picked the right golden bum, but I didn't pick the right rest of the players, you know? But the key is you gotta find that golden bum. And my next episode I will dedicate to doing an analysis on how to pick the golden bum for any sport. You know, so if a player gets mad, here's the thing, right? If a player gets mad, like if this blows up and if the word gets out, because people like the word golden bum, you know, when I was in this forum that I'm in, I referred to this one player as he's going to be the golden bum for the night. It got a lot of laughs, right? So it's going to probably take off, and people are going to start using that term golden bum. And when people or when players get mad, if a player finds out and they were to get mad, I mean, oh well. I mean, I'm not going to really care, you know, because yeah, according to like, if you compare me to them, I'm a bum to them, right? But I'm not playing the sport. But amongst their peers and who they play against, they bums, right? So I'm gonna be like, yo, they ever get mad, I'm like, look, don't get mad at me. Fucking get mad in practice and get better. Shit, you know, don't get mad at me because of your lack of success. But it is what it is, you know. But like I say, this week in DraftKings, no major success to report. Won $1 yesterday. That's not really success, but whatever. And I'm gonna say it right now, man. I'm gonna say it again. I know I flip-flopped for the 5th time, but man, fuck spreadsheets, man. Right? I was on this whole thing where I was keeping track of all of the players. I was just keeping track of the list of the players in descending order of salary. And then I would highlight who made the perfect list within that list. And I was trying to figure out like if there's a pattern amongst that, like from a non-numerical standpoint. Like this was a non-numerical analysis. It was just strictly, here's a spreadsheet. Here are the names of all the players for this day's competition. Here's who made the perfect list. And I'm looking at the perfect list across a couple of days, you know, and I was trying to come up with a pattern. Didn't work out. So spreadsheets are for numbers and for number crunching. And when I find the data set that I want, as I continue to mature in machine learning and neural network analysis or whatever, I'm going to let the machine learning algorithm do the work on the spreadsheets, right? But you doing spreadsheets and punching in numbers by yourself, or even keeping track of all the names, that's just not really efficient. It's a waste of time. There's no pattern. Well, there is a pattern. Maybe I didn't see it, but yeah, I'm off that right now. So right now, I'm strictly back in my phone. I go to Line Star. I just like the players that I like based on my analysis. And then I try to fit them all into a roster and I try to get my money. That's all I do. But the one thing I will say is this though. This is one thing I'm gonna say. I'm probably gonna show you guys this and then probably be out. Oh no, I got a couple more things I want to talk about. You know, man, wow, I'm on there for him. It's almost 2:30. Yeah, I gotta hurry up. But I will say this though. Let me show you guys this. So if I can remember how to do this. Hey, what's up, Tat? Hey, Tat. He said you can't see it. Punch the numbers in, boy. Nah, man. Nah, man. Trust me, man. Yo, Tat, man. I'm on this NBA DraftKings, man. Man, Tat, man. I'm over here, man. Yo, I thought I figured it out, man, but I ain't figured shit out, man. Hey, what's going on, B? Hey, man, my man Tat Piker entered the room, man. Former college dorm mate. Is that the right word to use? Dorm mate? Not door like door, but we were in the same dorm. We were in the legendary Peabody Hall over there off of Broad Street, man. And we were part of 3 Long. He was down the hall from me. A lot of good memories, man. Tat was a big hoopster back in the day, man, like the hoop. So yeah, but yeah, man, I be doing DraftKings, man, and like I said, I was nah, man, fuck spreadsheet. I'm telling you, man, if you try to manually keep up with a spreadsheet, man, it's just gonna drive you crazy. Like the best thing to do is to go online and try to see if there's a data set of some NBA data, you know, but specifically DraftKings data. And LineStar does do this, right? They have this thing where you can like export the data into like a CSV file, but they don't give me the data that I want. You know, there's specific data that I want in my data set and they're not giving me that. And I hit them up and they said, yeah, we don't provide that. And I'm like, well, can y'all do it? And they were like, no, we're not doing that. So the data I'm interested in is I'm interested in and I want to see like I want to see the projection. I want to see all the projections for every game. I want to see the projected fantasy points for every game, and then I want to see it versus the actuals. But when you go to their site, it's like they when you actually download it, the way they have it, it's like not what I'm looking for, right? Like I'm looking for something very specific. So anyways, you do that, and then you basically use that in conjunction with neural networks and machine learning, and then you feed that shit into your algorithm, man, and then you start plopping out all the perfect lineups. But anywho, let me go ahead and show y'all something right quick, because I came to this little I guess if you want to call it a corollary or a theory, it's not a theory, it's actually a corollary, you know. It's something that has yet to not be proven true, because I haven't done all the research. But let me just show y'all my screen right quick. Here we go. Just bear with me, you know. All this technology and shit, you know, you got to make sure you here we go. Got that on there. Okay, cool. I ain't got no porn on my phone. Okay, it's not showing yet. Here we go. Yeah, I do got a porn phone, man. You know, I keep all the goodies on another phone, on my trash phone. Let me see, where is I don't believe I just told y'all that. Here we go. Where is the window capture? Okay, boom. Yeah, I'm looking at this. Let me go ahead and go to this. So what I will show you is this, right? So if you guys don't know, this is LineStar. So this is what I use to do my analysis. It's called LineStar. It gives you all the projections. There's a web version. Go check it out. I'm not promoting them. Well, I guess I am, but this is just a tool that helps you out in DFS. But let me show y'all something, right? Let me show y'all geniuses something right quick. So from yesterday, when you look at, if you look at the tiers, right? I do a lot of the tiers. I do both. I do the late swap. I do the late swaps, and I do the pick'ems. So if you go to pick'em, right? Basically what you'll see is this, right? Let me actually do it by who scored, and let's go by tier, right? So if you look at, okay, why is this thing freezing up on me? Okay, there we go. So if you look at it by tier, right? Steph Curry was the person that won tier 1 yesterday. And then yesterday, Paolo Banchero won tier 2, and Banchero was a beast, man. But I need the Magic to start winning, man, because if the Magic don't start winning, they will end up with Wembanyama, and that's not going to be fair to have Wembanyama and Banchero, man. That's not going to be fair, but that's besides the point. Right? So Banchero won that tier. Aaron Gordon won tier 3. I actually got that one right. Jalen Suggs won that tier. I didn't even see that coming. Tier 5 was Pokusevski. He won that tier. And then tier 6 was Chumo Kiki. That was my golden bum. That was a guy I picked in my lineup, right? But I'm gonna show y'all something fascinating, okay? This is the kind of information you get from the Trippin with Theobold channel, right? You get good insight, and you get good information for DFS analysis, right? It should be your first stop shop for DFS analysis. But now, when you go to the tiers, or when you go to the main swap or the traditional DFS, let's go to perfect lineups. Go to all. Let's just go to the perfect lineup. Do you guys see something familiar? Do you guys see what I see? Let me actually bring this down so you guys can see a little bit better. That's me. Let me put this here though. There we go. Do you guys see what I see? So if you notice in tiers, you have Jalen Suggs, Chumo Kiki, Steph Curry, Aaron Gordon, right? So in conclusion, what I have deduced was, if you get the tiers right, because when you pick the players from let me actually shrink this down, right? So what I was able to deduce from all this is that if you So if you start off with the tiers, right? Tiers basically is a limited subset of all the players, right? So basically in tier 1, you're only picking between like 3 to 4 players, and then down in tier 6, you're picking them from like 8 players, right? So if you can get the perfect list right for that, or if you get those guys right from a limited subset, 3 to 4 of those guys are going to be in the perfect lineup for the big shit, right? So in conclusion, the tiers and the traditional DFS work hand in hand, right? So you got to find the golden bum. Last night's golden bum was Chumo Kiki, right? Because he was only $3,700 and he put up 35 points for $3,700. That's from a ratio from a dollars to, point production ratio. That's not gonna get, like, you're not gonna get better than that. And then 4 of the other players came from the tiers list, right? So you got to use those 2 in conjunction, right? So hope you guys learn that. Hope you guys can see what I see. If not, I can go more in depth in another episode if you want, but just make sure you put it in the chat so I will remember to do that. Anywho, let me go ahead and do a Dre and his damn Bill story right quick. It's gonna be real quick because I've been on this thing talking shit. I've been running my mouth for an hour and 11 minutes. As Tat would say, I got the raps. He's like, yo, B, you got the raps. Wrap it up, B, you got the raps. Now that Kyrie thing had me kind of like, I had to like say a lot on Kyrie, man. Or I had to say a lot about the Kyrie situation, But now, let's go with the Dre and his damn Bills, right? So, real quick, real story. So back in the day, like, I've been a Bills fan for so long. I've been a Bills fan like before the DirecTV era, So when I was coming up, I lived in the Maryland, DC area, and the Bills were like the hot team at the time. So we saw most of the games. But when the Bills played at the same time as the Skins, you had to watch them bum ass Skins, So me and my dad, we used to like, my mom used to always like be on me and my dad to get chores done around the house, and if we did our chores, my mom would leave us alone for the game. So we would go ahead and hustle up and do all these chores outside, inside, half-ass weed whack, half-ass cut the grass, half-ass do whatever so we could watch the game. And man, I can't tell you how many times it's happened, but we would see the Bills warming up. Like, we come inside and we'd be like, oh man, the Bills getting ready to come on. Taking off our coat and shit. Okay, cool. The Bills getting ready to come on. And we sit down and we see the Bills warming up. Like, yes, we're about to watch these Bills. And right at the kickoff, like right when, because at the time I think it was Scott Norwood, or it was it was either Scott Norwood. Yeah, it was probably Scott Norwood, or what's the other kicker? The dude from Canada. Oh man, I'm blanking, man. What's the other kicker we had? Oh man, the other kicker. But anyways, right when the kicker was like running to kick the ball off, they would switch the feed and put the Skins game on, and we'd be like, "Fuck, man, we gotta watch these bum ass Skins, man." So like that's a firm like memory of mine from back in the day, man. That was a firm memory of mine, man. Just like, rustling, like, hustling to get these chores done to watch these Bills. And we're watching the Bills warm up, and then they get ready to kick the ball off, and then they switch the feed and put the Skins game on. But me and my dad were such Bills big fan, or me and my dad are such big Bills fan. My dad passed. That's why I said was or is. I'm still a Bills fan. But man, we were such big Bills fans back then that we would sit there and watch the Skins game to look for Bills highlights. Like when you heard that chime, so for all you little young motherfuckers that all you know is NFL Red Zone. Back in the day when you watched football and you had to watch the mainstream with no DirecTV, there was a chime that came on. It was boom, 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 ding, 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 and it would come on, and then they would have the highlight of the team. I mean, you guys kind of see it now, and they kind of still have it, but if you watch Red Zone channel, you rarely see it. But if they do show it, they cut away from it. But we had that, and that's what me and my dad used to do, man. We used to sit there and watch Skins game, hoping to see Bills highlights, right? So there'll be times when there will only be like one highlight or one Bills highlight in the game. There will be times when there'll be 3 highlights in the game. And yeah, that's how big of fans me and my dad were, man. So or I'm still here, he's not. So it's kind of weird to you. I got to learn how to use that in the proper MLA handbook grammar situation, right? I don't know how to phrase that or to word that. So anyways, what's coming up? So I got to hurry and wrap this up. I got things to do. What we got coming up? So yeah, big news, man. So man, shout out to my comedy bro, John Grimes, aka Tan Panda, for getting things popping, man. But I am in this LA Comedy Festival that's coming here to Los Angeles on November 17th and 18th. I submitted, got into it. And for those interested, on November 17th, on Thursday, I will be doing the X-rated after hours show. I'm not an X-rated comedian. I mean, I guess I can be an X-rated comedian show. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm doing the X-rated after hours show. I'm very excited about that. If you go on my social medias, you're going to see more information. And even there, you got the little, you got the QR code at the bottom. You might be able to scan it and, on this computer or whatever. But if not, go to my social media. I'm going to have it up there in a little bit. And also, here's the flyer of me. I got a flyer made with me on it. So on November 17th at 10:30, man, pull up and come and catch these jokes. Also, man, shout out to, I should have had the flyer, but I don't have the flyer on it, man. But shout out to another comedy brethren of mine, Vaughn Roberts. He got another spot going for all the comedians. It's a dope workout room, man. I'm just giving a shout out to him, man, because that's a dope room. Like I see myself going there every Wednesday night to work out some material. I was there last Wednesday night, worked out some material, man. It was fun, had some hecklers, had to shut some hecklers down, but is what it is. We had to do what we had to do. What else we got, man? No comedy bump for today, because like I said, I kind of ran over a little bit. But also, there will be no Trippin with Theobold next Friday on the 11th because I will be out of town. Okay, I will be Andrew. I'm actually gonna be in Buffalo, man. So I'm not sure how close you are to. I know you're in Toronto. But hey, we should probably link up, man. I will be in Buffalo on Wednesday, November 9th through November the 13th. I will be in Buffalo hanging out. I'll be in Buffalo taking care of business. I gotta help my mom out with something. I gotta take care of some business. So that, and also I'm going to a Bills game too, wink wink. Not wink wink. I am going to a Bills game, but I'm going there for business / pleasure. So yeah, so there will be no Trippin with Theobold next week. But what I will do is I need to start going live more. I'm gonna start going live. We got comedians that make fun of other comedians that go live and people don't come up in their feed. You know what I'm saying? So I got to get over that fear and just be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get this live in. Let me come here and talk this shit. So I think I'll probably do a live next week at some time, maybe more than one, but is what it is. Once again, man, thank y'all for tuning in to the 62nd episode of Trippin with Theobold. Make sure you guys follow me on all my socials. It's AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. So follow me. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff. But without further ado, I'm out of here, folks. Peace. Yep. Trippin with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Trippin. Yep. Trippin. Trippin. Trippin with Theobold.
Trippin with Theobold.